soldiers, it's WildBlueYonder, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to roll socks. Rolling socks is something that you're going to have to do on a regular basis at Air Force basic training, and it's something that you should probably learn before you go there. If you don't get this technique down, that's fine, but you should definitely be familiar with what you're going to be doing. So your finished product, when you're done rolling your socks, you should have one side that's a perfect oval and another side that's a perfect little smiley face. There shouldn't be any wrinkles, and your socks should be pretty dense. They should be pretty hard. Usually when we're deployed and we run out of ammo, we'll just chuck these downrange. They're pretty effective. Anyways, I'm going to teach you guys how to roll perfect socks today. Now your first step in rolling some good socks is to lay them down flat next to each other with the heel side up. What you're going to want to do is, your socks are probably going to look more like this. They're going to have a bump right here where the heel goes. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a little smiley face, just like this. And you're going to fold the heel back so it's nice and flat, just like this. Then you're going to take one sock and place it on top of the other. Whichever sock goes on top, you're going to place it about 1 inch above the top of the bottom sock. So what that means is this would be even. You're going to put it on top and then slide it up about maybe 1 inch or 2. And this is one of the key things to rolling socks. When it gets to the end, you're going to see why it's important to put this a little bit further up. It's going to be something that you're going to have to learn and kind of mess around with until you can figure out what's good for your socks and your size of foot. Okay, now we're ready to roll. I'd say about 80% of rolling socks is this setup. So once you get those set up correctly, this next part's going to be pretty easy. So the first thing you want to do is find a horizontal slot between 2 drawers. That usually works pretty well. And you're going to want to use this slot to sort of hold the socks in place as you're rolling them. Now, if you try to just do it this way, you'll start rolling them and it'll be fine, but at a certain point, it'll get too much pressure, the drawers will open up, and you might end up with something like that. And then your socks will kind of unravel. It won't be good for you. So if you do use this technique, make sure you close it in between here, put your feet up like this, and hold them here to keep the pressure. The best thing you can do is have somebody hold the neck of your socks as you're rolling from the other side, because they're not going to let go, and when you get to the end, it's going to be a lot easier to fold the socks over. It's going to require a little bit of patience. You're probably going to mess it up the first few times, but at the end of the day, you're going to end up with some nice socks, and people are actually going to come to you to be rolling your socks. One thing in basic training is, if you don't know how to do something, somebody else does. So you have to ask them for help, and maybe you know how to fold shirts better than they do, or maybe they know how to roll socks better than you do, so you might fold their shirts and they might roll your socks. Kind of just works out that way. So now you're gonna put the open end of the socks in between that slot up there. Get a pretty good plant with your feet. I got on slippers right now, so my feet are actually sliding around a lot, but it should actually work out pretty fine. Pull it back, get some good tension in there. Make sure that this edge is even now. Even though they were offset at first, you're going to pull them so that they are even. And then just fold it over and start rolling. Now at first, you're going to end up with kind of sloppy edges. And throughout rolling your socks, you want to keep those edges as straight as possible. So what helps is to kind of fold the very corners, maybe about 1/4 inch, to the interior of the sock. Okay? Well, just like that. And then roll them. I mean, that's pretty much it. Get as much tension as you can on these socks and just go slowly, inch at a time. And as soon as you get to the heel, stop. Look at the sides. You might have something like this where it's like a little bit of piece. You'll have a little piece that's not lined up with the edge of the sock. Tuck that in. Push that in. Pull the edges out. Make sure it's even and keep on rolling. You want to keep these as tight as possible. Keep some good pressure on them. And then you want to start looking at the sock as a whole. Start pulling this off on the side. The whole time you're constantly adjusting and pulling on the sock, pulling on the edges. You see how the edges here are not even? You want to make sure those are even. Pull them out, push the interior in. Just manipulate the sock so that it's even on all sides. You also want to make sure that the tops and the bottom of the socks aren't completely lumpy and bad looking. Like this one's kind of lumpy here. Not my best sock, I would say. So what you can do with that is just kind of squeeze it, press it back into the middle, squeeze it where it's lumpy, press it back into the middle, and kind of get out some of those bumps. Now it's a little bit harder at this point because you start to get really close to the drawer, and this is when it's helpful to have somebody else just hold your socks for you, because you don't have to worry about too much about keeping pressure. But it will be your partner's responsibility to keep the pressure on the socks. And sometimes people will get distracted, or I don't know, they'll just forget that they're rolling socks. They'll like let go just a fraction of, and they'll just like loosen their grip just slightly, and then your whole sock just comes unraveled. So here, now we have a nice flush edge. Look at this. This is perfect. It's beautiful. On this edge here, this needs some more work. Pull this up on the sides. There you go. That's looking a little bit better. So I'm still keeping pressure with my left foot, and it's over there on the other side. Most of this technique comes from just watching your edges, making sure it's even, and just being consistent. And now, if you look at the whole thing, it's not nearly as lumpy as it was before, because I've been keeping that pressure on it. And anytime I feel a bump, I'll just smooth it out. All right, so now I'm nearing the end of the sock. There's still about 2 inches of sock within the actual drawer itself. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm actually gonna have to keep pressure on this bottom lip right here with my 4 fingers and my thumbs on top. And then I'm gonna release my foot, let go of it, and here we are. And this is where it becomes very helpful to have somebody else holding these socks. But if you don't have somebody, then you just have to be awesome, and you'll just have to do it yourself. So you just fold this down on the sides, and this is usually where I mess up. This is where it'll all come unraveled. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen here while I'm recording this video. Pull this as tight as possible, and what you want is for the outside sock to come out just a tiny bit further than the inside sock, which is why you offset the socks at the beginning. So now you have something that looks like this. It's pretty much a perfect spiral, and then you have your 2 openings of the socks. So you're gonna take the opening of the sock that's on the top. So this is the bottom sock, this is the top sock. So I like to grab the sock with one hand, put one ring finger here, pull it out some more, middle finger, pull it out some more, and now I have my index finger. So now I have 3 fingers holding the bottom edge of this top sock right here. So now we have this top edge of the top sock, and this edge is going to get stretched around the back and meet up on the other side. So it's going to basically engulf like the entire sock right here. For those of you all who are visual learners, I'm going to try to explain this visually. So we have the bottom part of the top sock here, which I'm holding down with some good pressure. You can see my fingers, I'm holding them pretty tight. And now you have the top part right here. You're gonna take this top part and fold it back. You're gonna start folding it back along the back of the sock like that. Now at this point, I switch hands. I'll take my left hand and I'll take over. So now the sock is about halfway. My left hand is now holding the bottom part of the top sock, and the top part of the top sock is starting to come around this way. So you're going to pull this fabric, you're going to start pulling it around, if you can see that, around the side of the sock, around the back. And now it's going to meet up on this side. So now this is the bottom half of the top sock, this is the top half, it came around the back, you just pull it over, it's pretty simple. And then you pull it around the edges. So now you have what looks like an oval on this side. It looks pretty good. And on the other side, you have a smiley face. So these actually turned out to be pretty good socks. So this is pretty much your finished product here. You have a smiley face on this side, and then on the other side you have your oval. And some things to look out for. You might actually, if you do it wrong, you'll see some of the bottom sock poking out here, and you don't want that. You don't want to see any of the bottom sock here. You should only see this area here. Another thing is, at basic training, you're gonna have to trim off any extra strings that are kind of hanging off, poking out of the sock. Trim any of those off. Also, you want to make sure the sides are completely flat. On this side, you can see there's a little bit of a dimple. Just press that in, that's fine. Other than that, that's how you roll socks. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.